When it comes to the Southern Conference, here are the guys to listen to. You got me, Marky, Billson, host of Tri-City Sports now on 1420 WEMB Sports Radio, and then 1:30 on Mondays at SoCon John Hooper. Because, mid-major madness, not that there aren't great writers. I think the Post and Courier down in Charleston does an outstanding job. The Greensboro papers do a nice job. The ones that you're at near there in Spartansburg and Greenville do a decent job. Decent. Listen to me. Sounds like I'm giving them a C or something like that. But anyway, point is, Chattanooga Times Free Press has always done a good job. But yes, I believe in the Southern Conference. I believe that they deserve attention in their home market, being ETSU. And I believe that SoCon John Hooper knows of what he speaks. You heard some of the interview with Jay McCauley there. I was impressed. That guy did come off as extremely articulate with to me. And I know he's been around, Garner Webb, Furman, that sort of thing. But you tell me, your impressions of the interview or even the Terriers' hire of McCauley. What were your thoughts?
I think it's a great hire. I think he is a guy that will come in and he's been pretty high thought of assistant ever since he came to Furman back in 2013-14. And so I think he'll do a great job. I really think who he's hired as assistant coaches, Dwight Perry from Furman and Coach Henrik from Gardner Webb, those are two guys that he's obviously close to, having served on both of those staffs with those two guys. And I think, from what he said and what really he also said last week when he hired those guys, that was the two guys that he hit a home run for us. That those were the two guys that he would first go after, and he was able to get them both to come to Wofford. And a lot of times that doesn't happen. You might get one guy, or you might get either guy, but his first two choices he's able to influence to come to Wofford. And I think you look at what's happened this week with the recruits of Zach Urban, and which I think he's probably still in play at Wofford. And then obviously you got to look at Hunter Couture, who I think it was Sunday decided he can commit to Virginia Tech. So he was an original commitment to Wofford, and I know that Coach McCauley had wished he would probably be signed with the Terriers, but he made the transition after Mike Young made the transition to Virginia Tech. So it's going to be interesting to see if Jay can keep Zach Urban and allow him to be able to kind of make his decision. And but I do think, in my heart of hearts, I think that Urban probably still goes to Wofford. And when you lose a guy like Fletcher McKee, obviously having a guy that's as good of a player as Urban and as good of a shooter as Urban come in, that'll help out a little bit. Wofford's obviously going to be really strong at guard, and I think one of the things that they probably will look at as you go forward in recruiting is try to get another big man. I know they had a guy redshirt this year, Messiah Jones, who is a very highly thought of recruit out of Illinois. He's an original Drake commit until Nico Medved went to Colorado State, and then he obviously went to transfer to Wofford. So a lot going on. I found that recruiting last year seemed to be pretty much. I know I wrote my article last year on April 21st of ranking the recruiting for the Southern Conference, and then this year a little bit more gets dragged out a little bit, but I guess it ebbs and flows as you go with each year. But I'll be interested to see even locally what East Tennessee State does in Johnson City with Jerome Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Obviously deciding to go pro, so they're going to need another big man now.
Well, let me, I want to get, before we go to Rodriguez, because that was very surprising, let's say. Although when you think about it, maybe not. And it really, I thought, was a flashing red light of saying, pay the players, because how, he wants to be paid. He's going to play pro. I don't know if he's going to go to the NBA. I kind of doubt that. G League may be a possibility, but he'll be paid. And, that is huge now. I mean, and there is that mindset of, hey, look, I got my degree here. I mean, it's time to go on. Now, it stinks for ETSU, but hold that thought. You mentioned Zach Irvin. Now, I communicated on social media last weekend, and he told me he was thinking of taking a trip to Furman on Friday. Did you hear at all, SoCon John Hooper, if Irvin made the trip down to Furman?
I did not, but I did hear that, obviously you heard straight from the source, but I did hear he was rumored to be making a trip to Furman. I'm assuming that he did, but, it's interesting because I know Hunter Couture also chose Virginia Tech over Furman, so that would lead you to believe that Couture, who was the original Wofford commit, chose Virginia Tech over Furman, so they probably had him in as well. So I don't know. That was prior to Couture making the commitment to Virginia Tech, and I know that Urban and Couture are really good friends. I wonder if that has anything, if that will have anything to do with Urban's decision this point forward, because Couture is now at Virginia Tech, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes to Wofford or did he go to Furman and potentially it ends up being a Paladin. But I would assume that it probably will end up at Wofford. I'm just guessing. But I knew Furman had a chance if they could get Couture to Furman.
I know that in the past there were 21 offers that he was given, and some ETSU is in there, Marshall, which won the CIT, UNCA, the schools like that were in it. He said that he recently got an an offer from Elon, among some others. I think Marshall came. Appalachian State was another one, so not necessarily the Southern Conference schools or so. I know the ETSU fans would like to have him back, although I once said to him, well, you got to be said to Steve Forbes, you got to be banging your head that you didn't get Irvin. He said, no, I'm not banging my head on that and all this. Some other schools that previously were intrigued by Zach Irvin here, and I'm going through an old Tim Hayes, Bristol Herald Courier article right now, but check out these schools. Belmont, sounds good, okay. In terms of leagues, let's say leagues, how about Duquesne in the Atlantic 10? It's only a 7-hour trip away, okay. College of Charleston, we mentioned ETSU. James Madison, that's in state. Liberty, that's a growing program. Mercer, they're going to have some. You want to stay with the academics? What about Rice? Conference USA. So I mean, there's been some, and of course, Wofford, which we mentioned before. Or how about if you want to go up north and play in a larger market, the Siena Saints? So there are a lot of opportunities right there that he's got, and certainly Rice would be a big market as well in Houston, if you could make a name there. A little surprised maybe that Georgetown, but I guess the idea was, I know in the past, for instance, when Murray Bartow was the coach here, he once gave a scholarship to Greg Hamlin, who was a center at Mott Community College, to try to get Kevin Tiggs to come in. But that would be working in reverse, so you've already got Mac McClung. But yeah, I know a lot of people think that Irvin is just as good. So, if you wanted to do that in sort of a old, I don't know, two guys from the same high school way at Georgetown or something. A little surprised maybe they didn't enter the fray. Anyway, SoCon John Hooper, Jerome Rodriguez, not coming back to ETSU. To me, this now makes the Southern Conference race a two-horse race between Wofford and ETSU. What say you?
I would actually put it over who started coming back, probably Furman at ETSU.
Okay.
And then Wofford, but because Furman does have 4 starters back, so but it would probably be you and I talked about it, I guess it was last week or the week before, that ETSU was heads and shoulders above everyone else. Mm-hmm. So I think I still think ETSU is the favorite, don't get me wrong, but I think it probably brings them back a notch or two as far as like what season
Yeah.
Steve Forbes called him his most skilled player, and not necessarily, I don't think you lose as much scoring-wise as you do, what we could do on rebounding on both ends. The way he passes out of the post, I think that's where you lose a lot of what, it's hard to find in a recruit, a guy that can do several different things well, and also the way he defends. So, I think that I like who ETSU assigned so far. I think Monsanto is going to be, a really good player. I think he's a guy that can come in and contribute right away. And I think also Joe Beasley, I guess, the transfer from Central Connecticut State is going to be very good. So that helps out a little, but you get Beasley, who I think he averaged like 12 points a game off the bench for Central Connecticut State last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a 6'7" guy that can kind of step out and shoot the three. So he'll be a little bit of a help, but they probably need another big man to come in and kind of, I know Coach Forbes likes to have a lot of depth at every position. So they probably need one more guy, and I would expect they'll go out and try to find one more big man.
Well, we're talking to SoCon John Hooper of Mid-Major Madness. Finishing up some of the basketball talk with Jerome Rodriguez leaving the team. Now, you mentioned they have to find somebody who can take his place as a rebounder, and he averaged, was actually at one point one of the nation's leading rebounders. Remember that Lucas Gesson, Mladen Armas, and Octavian Corley all come in underneath the boards next year. Those are three very talented. Two of them are 7 feet tall, and Armas, who's been starting under the boards here for 2 years, he's 6'10". So I still think that this is going to be a strong rebounding team. SoCon John Hooper, yeah. But yeah, the best one is gone. And I would say this: you mentioned you think that ETSU is still the favorite next year in men's basketball. I can see that, certainly. I do think that I think Wofford might be the bigger challenge. You like Furman, that's fine. One wonders where UNCG will be, or how kind of stock up that Mercer, Chattanooga, possibly even VMI or Citadel. I mean, because Bubba Parham being there at VMI, I really think that's they could have a winning record next year.
Well, actually, he transferred out last week.
He did. He told me on this show that he was going to be a keyed up for life.
No, he transferred, and I think there's some people feel he's probably going to end up at Georgia Tech. So.
Okay, I was not thank you for telling me that. I had let that go past because he had told me. I'd say, "Are you going to stay with the Keydets?" And he said yes on this show.
Well, it was,
you can go back and go to the interview, folks. It's archived. It's on my personal Facebook page.
It was actually the 16th that he announced that he was transferring out. So I think that is, if you look at it, because now VMI is without Parham and other real good shooting guard, and I know you saw him at the tournament, Marky, Patel, Sarju Patel, is also transferred out. So they lose, a lot of scoring and a lot of perimeter shooting in those players. And kind of feel for VMI and Dan Earl, because I think he was really putting together, with the young talent, Stevens, the center that can step out and shoot pretty well and can also has a nice inside game. He was put together a team that really shaped up to have probably his best team since he's been at VMI. And I think one that could have really challenged, for a top 5 finish and a bye in the open round of the Southern Conference tournament. But now it's really going to be tough.
No, forget about it. I mean, without Parham, I'm not doing. Forget it. I mean, that was sort of my sleeper right there. But and I think that the long-time loser, gaining respectability. That everybody likes that story and all this, but it can be over-romanticized. I get that. But yeah, I'm disappointed because I know Bubba said he was going to stay at VMI. And no, he's going to transfer up now. Okay, so we'll see what it works. I mean, it worked well for Scott Padgett this past year down at Samford when he had lost players to Louisville, and they wound up being better than they were before. So, and he mentioned team chemistry is the reason that they wanted to be at Samford and such instead of somewhere else. I do know that it's a tough place to win at VMI, but it has happened in previous generations. I just think that the Southern Conference Commissioner has to come in and go to some of these schools, especially VMI, and say, guys, no, you want to entertain military leaders. Military leaders need to win. Figure this out, okay? I mean, because otherwise it's horrible for the Southern Conference, and I do think the Southern Conference is best if, yes, I think Citadel and VMI, they've been in there forever. Wouldn't be the SoCon without them and all this, but Citadel and VMI also should be more competitive. Just that simple. It's,
correct. I think you're right.
Yeah, and if I'm a commissioner...
If you look at it, Western Carolina last week signed 3 guys. One of those a 3-star recruit, according to verbalcommits.com. Nicholas Estimont, a 6'7", 220-pound coach player, committed to Western Carolina. I believe that was on Friday. So that's shaping up to be a pretty good class. He signed another guy in that center, Xavier Court, and guard. He thinks they've got Carlos Dotson coming back, so now he's going to have a little bit of help in the paint. Should these guys play right away? And then he signs a 2-star guard, shooting guard, Travion McRae. So 3 signings, pretty impressive what Mark Prosper has been able to put together in the recruiting process so far. I would see Western Carolina kind of making the jump that we thought maybe VMI would.
Okay, yeah, and I possibly could see that Western, that's a tough place, I think, to win in basketball because it is so remote. And basketball is, as Pete Axtone wrote, the city game. And Cullowhee, North Carolina is not a city. And so I think culturally it can be a lot easier to win in football, as they did in the past, as well as baseball. But, look, I remember, Frankie King doing incredible things for the Catamounts at a previous era and all this, and if a shot is, just off the back of the rim away from being number 1 seed Purdue, and that Western Carolina team, I tell you, of 1996 was better than UMBC that beat Virginia a year ago as the first 16 seed to beat a 1. I don't care what anybody else says. That was a good team, and I saw them play a few times. So, it's a winning record there. It's a nice facility they have in Cullowhee. Very nice facility. So that's a good thing right now. Just got a town of 2,000 to play in and a 7,000-seat gym. That's all. Hey, let's talk some football when we come back, and a little bit more what SoCon John Hooper may have learned about the new commissioner. Tri-City Sports Now coming back. Second half of SoCon John Hooper after this.